Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Trending. So as you can see, we're not in our usual home. We are in London today, and I am joined by Mim Shaikh.
How you doing?
I'm good, Mim. How are you?
Very well.
Thank you so much for joining us and being here today on Trending.
Absolutely welcome.
So I want to talk to you firstly about what is it that you do, because you are doing so much at the moment. In your own words, just, you know, on the top of your CV, what would you say you are or what you do?
Yeah, my primary job is a radio broadcaster.
Yeah.
So I work for BBC Radio 1 Extra
Yeah.
and the BBC Asia Network. I present 3 shows for the BBC at the moment whilst covering like loads of others.
You're putting in the work, 3 shifts, three
it's fun.
shows,
It's
right?
fun. It's fun work though. You
Yeah.
know, so it's not really. It's not really seen as work.
Of course.
It's like it's a passion. So I present a weekend breakfast show on 1 Extra, 6 till 10 a.m. and then a Thursday evening debate program on the Asia Network, which is Thursdays 9 till 12.
Wow, so you're doing a lot right now.
Yeah, that's my primary job.
Yeah.
Which like pays my bread and butter,
Yeah.
and is something I've always wanted to do since I left university, where I studied broadcast journalism, and then I also do like other things outside of that.
Yeah.
So I'm an actor. I started my first film, a feature film, which is out right now called Freehold. I'm a poet. I write spoken word pieces online.
Yeah.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be an estate agent. All right, calm down. That was a little lie, a fake statement. I got no qualifications, no experience, no license, nor training. I answered an ad in a job site saying spineless and love negotiating.
Yeah, I'm just a creative.
So maybe I should have asked you what you don't do.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of things. I've done quite a lot of things in the past, but
Well, it's all to be proud of. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I just feel like just to continue to push yourself,
of course.
especially creatively,
Yeah.
like doing different things,
Yeah.
and how that can like flex that creative muscle in our brains that we have.
Of course. So let's take it right back. When you started your journey, how did you get into radio and acting?
Yeah, so if we do radio first, I studied broadcast journalism at university, and at the time I had a student radio show on Leeds Student Radio, and I used to just go in after my course, after I started finishing studying, and just go in and like present my show, and it was a terrible show. It was like very bad. I used to always say,
start somewhere, right?
Yeah, but I have flashbacks of it sometimes, because I was like, when I'm on air on the BBC, when there's like thousands of people listening, I just have a flashback of being on student radio and going, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to blame the studio and say that we're suffering from technical difficulties.
Yeah.
When the studio wasn't at fault, it was me who was just a bad broadcaster. I used to present like specialist music shows there, and then I decided I wanted to take it seriously, so I started getting into student radio and like handed in things there. Then I graduated and became an assistant producer at the BBC. Worked on like several shows on the Asia Network. From there became a producer, and then got opportunities to broadcast on radio.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you also have your own YouTube channel and YouTube content that comes out. Can you tell me what inspired you to sort of create some of that stuff? Because they have very important messages in some of the stuff that you've created and put out.
I think that's more now.
Okay.
So like now I feel I've become a lot more serious. I think it's just as you get older, you just
Life, and it takes over.
you start thinking about different things in comparison to what you did when you was younger. And I think there's been a lot of growth in me over the past 5 years due to just life and just things that have been happening. But in the beginning, I started doing YouTube videos just to like raise my profile and not really know what I was doing, and just doing comedy sketches and
Having
pranks.
fun, right?
Whereas now I think it's completely different now in regards to, I feel like I have a small platform and I can say some really meaningful stuff that will resonate with an audience. That's why I've like started moving more work into like spoken word and like writing like the Letter to My Mother piece, or like the Greed is Good piece taken from a film, or Coming Out, which focuses on someone with mental health issues, dealing with that. So yeah, that's where the transitions kind of come from.
Yeah. I think it's great that you can use your platform to do that. You know, a lot of people will get a platform and maybe just keep putting out what they normally put out, but it's great that the fact that you can switch it up like that and talk, you know, have some comedy pieces, and because I know you've done some pranks, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then sort of go on to talking about really serious things. So I think that's a credit to you, because not a lot of people I think can make that transition.
Thank you.
Very successfully.
I get bored very quickly, so like I can't do the same thing over and over and over again.
I hope no women who you're dating or your girlfriends are watching this. Like,
no, that's a different.
What does he mean he gets bored quickly? I'll show him.
I say creatively.
Okay, all right.
Within my work.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's just trying to flex that creative muscle and just trying to push it into things that I never thought I could really actually do, but actually look back and go, no way, I can, and I am.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. So you have played a few pranks to get into some awards. Can we talk quickly about that, please?
Yeah, of course you can.
Well, you need to tell me, like, what went through your mind? Like, how did that come about? Because you tried to get into the Brit Awards. Did you get and the Asian Awards, right? How did you get into them? And who did you impersonate to get into those awards?
So I think it first started off with just like a video, a Jay Sean video, where I pranked the Mobile Awards into thinking that I was Jay Sean.
Jay, are you sure we're going to get into the Mobos tonight?
Of course, baby, don't worry. You are my only. We'll get into the Mobos tonight.
Right.
Can't you just escort me to the box office and say that I'm with Jay Sean?
No, I can't do that. I don't know who Jay Sean is. Tell you the truth.
You don't know who Jay Sean is?
No, I don't like music, period.
You recognise me though, innit?
Yeah.
Keep supporting the music, man.
Yeah, man. Cool.
What, you feeling any of the tunes?
Very well.
You like them, yeah?
Yeah,
so
cool.
what I'm doing is alright then?
Yeah, cool.
Because it's like coming to events like this, you know, you get feedback from the fans and from the people.
You're amazing.
It should be Jay Sean +1.
Jay Sean for VIP tickets, yeah?
Yes, Jay Sean +1.
Did you get through?
Yeah, I got through.
Wow.
Yeah. And looking back, it's weird because we were just having this conversation in the radio studio today after the show, and talking about that video, and I turned around and I was like, it's only now, older, that I'm understanding how like that video actually portrayed the fact that people's perceptions of all Asian people look very similar and identical, because I look nothing like Jay Sean.
Absolutely,
like we're completely
like
different. But I think this society.
I think I look more like Jay Sean than you look like Jay Sean.
Yeah, if you want to argue that.
All right, calm down.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that, looking back on it now, at the time I just done it because I was just like, yeah, we'll go down, we'll have jokes. But now looking back on it and with like a more grown thinking mind, there's actually a lot of issues within that video in itself, like just highlighting. There's like racial undertones and like how perception is seen from like a outside point of view on a specific race. But yeah, so I was just doing them videos for jokes, and then I done a couple more, and then they were just like light-hearted banter that I can look back at and just laugh at.
Yeah, of course. It's good times, right?
Yeah.
Hashtag good times.
You need to have them.
Yeah, for sure. So can we talk a little bit about a letter to your mother?
Yeah.
Dear Mum, I know I hardly call you that because you're more like my younger sister than you are my mother, and I've had no problem acting as the older brother. But I need to let you know that now I've started to care. I've allowed myself to realise that it's been unfair that I've never had the love from my mum, never even received the smack on the bum. And I know none of this is your fault, but I can't put these feelings on hold. I don't want to point any blame, but you're one of the reasons why I'm so attracted to fame.
Obviously, it's a taboo in our culture to talk about mental health. How important was it for you to get that message out there and to create that piece?
I think more importantly, it was just important for myself just to do. I needed to deal with that issue within me, which I feel like a lot of us just end up burying a lot of the time. Like, we all have issues, we all have things to deal with in our lives, because otherwise it just goes around in circles in your mind. So if you're not able to deal with these issues, it will just have a backward effects on your thinking. And I felt like at the start of this year was a very good time to just handle that situation and that relationship with my mother, and just write the piece and I wrote the piece. There's a producer called Wonder who like works with Cadet and a lot of other people. He made an instrumental that I loved, and I just wrote the piece and wrote a music like a treatment for the video for it, and then just put it up. And the greatest thing about that, I think, is one of my proudest pieces of work because it's resonated with an audience like I never thought it ever would, and it made me feel, oh, I'm not the only person who has a relationship like this with their mother. Yeah. There's so many people who don't have the ability to communicate. And I thought, I grew up my whole life thinking it was just me, and that no one else really suffered from that. But yeah, it was nice to see how connecting that issue was for like mainstream people, for just everyone in the world. I got so many messages saying thank you for articulating words that I've thought but I've never been able to articulate myself, which I think was amazing.
What's your relationship like now with your family? So for your mother to read that or to see that, what was that like, and what's the relationship like now?
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same, but for me it's better because it's just open from my end. Yeah, family's always going to be family, like they're always going to be there.
Yeah. So you recently sat down with the legendary Reggie Yates to talk about his book. What was that like? Yeah,
it was wicked. Reggie's had a great relationship with me. I think he's been like a good mentor in like helping me with certain things because I've always looked up to him and seen what he's done. And he just contacted me and said, I want you to be one of the hosts for my Q&A for my book. So I went up to Manchester. I read a couple extracts from it. I still got to read the whole thing. I haven't read it all yet.
Oh no, Reggie Yates.
He knows. Even at the talk, he like told me off. No, but it was, it's like being able to sit down with someone that you've once thought, oh, I'd love to be doing what you do, and actually having a conversation with him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, great. And you've dabbled recently into acting, as you just hit on earlier. What was your first acting role?
Okay, so this is weird, because it actually ties in with BBC. Okay. So I was at the BBC 3-4 years ago, working as an assistant producer, and Riz Ahmed came in for an interview on a show, and I was there as an assistant producer, and I was just bugging him, like, check out my YouTube videos, check out my YouTube videos, check out my YouTube videos.
You was being that guy, weren't you?
Yeah, I was bugging him. And it bugged him so much that
he actually checked it out.
I got an audition for a short film called Daytimer, which was his first short film that he directed, and I got a role in there, and that was my first ever experience of acting on set and having to learn lines and being around. And I remember being on set just thinking, oh my God, this is exactly the same feeling as like being on the radio. I want to do this for the rest of my life as much as I can. So yeah, done that, and then got myself an agent, and I went through the whole industry way of actually getting work. Done a short film called Sunni Shia, which is nominated for a BAFTA this Sunday.
Amazing.
Yeah, fingers crossed we get that.
We've got everything crossed for you here at BritAsia.
Toes as well.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, done that, and then done my first feature film called Freehold, which is a British independent film. It's a horror, dark comedy. It's on iTunes, Amazon Prime for you to watch, and shooting a drama at the moment for BBC One.
Fantastic, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So apart from radio and TV, what else are you sort of up to at the moment?
Trying to write some pieces. Like that's where I'm like trying to push my energy and my time into, but I've got a busy schedule doing like loads of other stuff that I feel like when it's an issue that I really care about and really want to speak about, then I will like make sure that I do that. But that's the main aim.
And where do you get your inspiration from for this stuff? Is it mostly about your life and your experiences?
Yeah, I think my life's been very different to a lot of other people. It's just a big like upbringing that I've had within the culture that I'm in. And I think that's got a part to play in it. But I just admire people who are so honest and truthful within themselves, and they can become the best version of who they are because they admit what they do, and they'll be the first one to put their hands up if someone turns around to them and says, oh, you're like this. And like, yeah, I know I'm like that. And I think when you know yourself, we live life to carry on knowing ourselves, and we know ourselves even better as we get older. So I think the people that are best at to be able to do that and let people in on their lives, those are the people that I look up to the most in whatever creative field or venture you're in.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Mim. That was fantastic.
You're absolutely welcome.
So that's all we've got time for at the moment, but join us after the break for Hot Off the Press. Hey guys, we are back with part 2 of our show, Hot Off the Press. I'm still with my guest, Mim Shaikh.
Yes.
Mim, this is the second part of our show, which is called Hot Off the Press. And basically, we just talk about things that are trending right now or things that are in the press for whatever reason. And then we've got a little game that I like to play. It's like my signature thing now. I play games with my guests. They're fun. Don't we look so serious? It's not, I'm not going to like, you know, everyone's got the serious faces.
What type
like,
of game
oh,
is it going to be?
Yeah, exactly. Not that type. Just need to confirm that.
What's that type?
Oh, okay, never mind. So anyway, so basically, well, the first thing I want to talk about is mental health, because I know you do a lot of things for mental health, and you talk a lot about it. But how important is it for you to address the issues around mental health?
I think people should speak up on what they know and what they feel and stuff that they're experienced in a sense. And I know my mum suffered heavily from it, so I have first-hand account of what that actually means as I'm growing up. And I think we all, from time to time, each and every single one of us have like bouts of depression and like suffer from huge anxiety. And I think it's just good to be aware of your own mind state. And it's like what I was saying before, the more you know yourself, the better you're able at decision making for what is going to be beneficial for yourself at the end of the day.
And I guess you using your platform to highlight exactly what you just said will hopefully, like, even if you reach just one person to talk who actually says, actually, no, it's not suffering from mental health, it's actually a part of life and goes hand in hand with physical health. I feel like you've made a difference, right? Even if it just hits one person.
Yeah, for sure. Whoever, I think I stopped realizing that I need to become popular and start just standing for something, and I just wanted to do more of that. And if one person connects, then great. If 100 people connect, great. If 1,000 people connect, even better. But yeah, it doesn't matter about how many, it's just as long as somebody has, you know, like as long as someone has taken it in.
Of course, yeah. In our culture specifically, why do you think it is that we don't talk about it?
Because our culture is very swipe it under the carpet, get on with it.
Yeah.
Oh, she got divorced, don't worry about it, move on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's separated, don't worry, move on. Oh, she's got mental health issues, oh, don't worry about it, move on.
Yeah.
Like, and you just carry on going and going and going. But then what happens is if you don't deal with these issues, bam, 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 and it leads to implosion. And you'll end up imploding in a way that you don't know how.
Yeah.
So the better you're able to deal with them head on early on, the much better it is for like families and cultural people to understand that.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting like, I don't know if you watched The Boy with a Top Knot.
I didn't know. I've got it on
BBC
Sky
Two.
Plus, so I'm going to watch it.
So
sure.
I think that was about the memoir about Satnam Sangera.
Yeah.
And
It
how
was meant to be. I heard really, really good reviews.
Yeah, it was
about
amazing to actually see that on like British television about a guy who is Asian and speaking openly about his dad's schizophrenia. And yeah, we don't really see that at all within Black or Asian communities. Whereas now it's now not becoming a taboo. Yeah. It's becoming normal for people to normalize these things that have once been a taboo.
So what advice could you give to somebody who is watching this right now and maybe they don't understand their feeling? And like you said, maybe sweeping it under the carpet, it's not the fact they're sweeping it under the carpet, it's that they don't understand what is actually going on and happening. What advice could you give to somebody to get help? It could be somebody who, you know, has the mental, feels like they're going through something, or it could be somebody who's suffering as sort of a spectator. What advice could you give them?
I think like use any art form to express what you're struggling with. That's why art is created in the world, for you to vent out how you exactly feel, whether that's you feeling funny and comical and you want to do comedy stuff, or you feel deep and you want to write poetry, or you want to express, or you want to act, or you want to paint because you want to express colors. Like whatever it is, just find one creative outlet and like use it, because it's very beneficial for you. Like very, very beneficial. Even if you think you're not a creative person, you know, and you're stuck in your job and you work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you go out, weekends is with family or with your wife or your husband, and you don't have no time to like have a creative outlet. I think it's so important to have one. Yeah. Be that keeping a diary, that's still a creative outlet because you're writing.
Of course.
And I think that will help you a lot if you stick to it.
Perfect, great. Thank you very much for that. It was very, very insightful.
Yeah, a bit deep, innit?
No, it's good, good. I felt it though. It's true. We don't talk about it enough,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's great to talk about it with you. So thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome.
So we are coming to the end of our show, and so I said earlier, we do have a little game that I play with my guests. It's sort of becoming a signature thing now, so you know it's working out well. So I think
What's
it'll
it called?
be good.
Fresh off the press?
Fresh off the press.
What is it?
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press, sorry. Same thing though, isn't it?
All right, I'll give you that one. But basically, it's a game that we're going to play, and so I'll just give you the quick rules. There's no conferring, no phoning a friend, no 50-50. So you got. I just want your. Yeah, I know, really tough
It's not
rules,
Who
right?
Wants to Be a Millionaire.
No. What show is that? No, these
No,
are all mine.
yeah.
These are all mine. Whoever's trying to coin it, Chris Tarrant. No, it's not real. It's all me here. So yeah, I'm just going to ask you. So the game is called Yes. So it's actually yes or nah. So it's basically
Yes or nah.
nah.
Okay.
But you have to say it the way I've said it. So it's yes.
Yes.
It's all in the hand. Let's see it.
Yes.
You didn't do it.
Well, I have to do it with a hand?
Yes.
Nah, I'll just say it.
Really?
Yeah, it feels
You're gonna be a party
uncomfortable.
people. You just did it there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yes or
There you go.
nah.
Nah.
All right.
Okay. So
Where's that from again? That's from
my wife
something-
and kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was good. You did it.
That was hilarious.
So basically, I know that you have been to Buckingham Palace,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And so the theme of that, and obviously because we're in London, we're going to keep it sort of British
Okay.
and English. And I'm going to give you sort of some things that are we here for it or are we nah? So is it a yes or is it a nah?
Okay. Okay.
So the first, like I said, remember, no conferring, no 50, no friend, just straight up answer. Okay. Nettle eating contest.
Nah.
They do this in Dorset.
What?
I know.
Nettle eating?
I know.
would
People
want
eat
it?
nettles
Why
for
would-
1 hour.
Why?
I,
Does it taste nice?
what do you think?
Well, if they eat it, I'm assuming it tastes
Yeah, but
nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a nah.
That is
straight.
a nah for sure. Yeah.
Not on that.
Okay. Next one is spotted dick.
What?
It's the sponge pudding, spotted dick.
Oh, yeah. No, I've heard this. Somebody asked me, I'm trying to catch me out with this. Yeah, that's a yes.
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Apparently it tastes really nice.
I've never tasted it. Have you?
Ever?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Have you?
No.
Okay. We need to try
I
that.
will.
Then. After this, we're
Yeah.
gonna go and get some spotted dick and taste it.
Apparently
It's
it's,
a
orange.
sponge pudding,
It's
people.
orange, yeah.
Okay.
It's orange in the middle, yeah.
Oh, I don't like Terry's chocolate orange, or is it like a rip off of
Don't
that, or
know.
is it? Well, we gotta taste it,
Try
right?
some, innit?
Okay. All right. Third one is Marmite crisps.
Yes.
Really?
I don't like Marmite, but
Then how can you?
because I love crisps,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I can eat any flavour crisps,
Yeah, that's true. Crisp or
apart
crisp,
from ready
aren't they?
salted.
Yeah. I feel like I can't have a crisp without sandwich though.
Huh?
I know.
You can't what?
Eat crisps without a sandwich.
Oh, without a sandwich?
Yeah, like I can't. It just I don't understand how people eat it by itself.
That's a bit. Just eat it,
I
innit?
know. Yeah. Take your advice. Just eat it.
Go when you leave here, go to the shop, buy a packet of crisps, just eat it without a sandwich.
So we're here for it then, yeah? It's a
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's a yes.
Okay, cool. Mushy peas.
Nah.
Nah,
Dash
I
that
know.
away.
One, why do you eat peas? Two, why are they mushed up?
No, peas are nice. Mushy peas is just.
But why are they
nice.
mushed up? What's the taste difference? Like,
Don't know. Mash them up and try.
yeah, but it's nah, isn't it?
I'm not on that. No.
No, me too. Okay, dunking biscuits in tea.
Yes.
Yes, that was a good one.
That's
yes.
I've been doing that since I was a kid for ages.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't even drink tea, but I will still dunk my biscuit in somebody's tea just to have that taste.
I used to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to see you
so-
haven't grown up.
Who told you to grow up? You
No.
can't grow up.
I'm
It's a
saying
trap.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't ever.
That's great. Thank you so much. You've been a great guest today.
You're welcome.
That's all we've got time for, unfortunately, but join us again next week on Trending.